Today we are with one of the stalwarts of English cricket, Mr. Monty Panesar, who has been a stalwart in the game and has been a revolution for England in the spinning department, as we have seen him doing wonders for English cricket, be it in England or in the subcontinent as well. So welcome, sir. Thank you very much for having a chat with me. I am Shora Dipash. I am currently working as a sports sub-editor for Mike Hill, which is a India-based outlet, digital outlet. So, sir, thank you very much. First of all, it's a great moment actually for me. I'm having goosebumps that I've been doing this with you. It's a surreal moment for me. So, thank you very
Could you
much.
give me 1 second, please?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, sir, today we're gonna have some talks about all the things that's been happening in cricket right now. So, if you're fine with it, so should we start?
Yeah, go for it.
So the first thing that we have been seeing in the recent past is that England, the resurgence of your country in cricket. You won the 2019 World Cup. You just won the T20 World Cup. So what is the chemistry that has been changing in England that is garnering all these good results? Because we are seeing even the English players in every department, even in the IPL, they are getting great amount of money this season as well. Sam Curran, last season Liam Livingstone, Ben Stokes, all these players were emerging and becoming one of the best players in the world. So what is the thing behind this resurgence?
Yeah, look, I think it's to do with probably foreign style of coaching, really. I think what's happened is England have kind of appointed younger people in administrative roles, like Rob Key. He's only in his early 40s and he's like the managing, the director of ECB. And then they've got a coach who's in his, again, similar age, just over 40s. So, it's all kind of like similar ages. And because they're in touch with the modern game more than maybe someone who's played the game and then haven't really been coaching with the franchise teams as such, or been playing in the franchise leagues. And they may be slightly out of touch the game, even though they back their experience, their knowledge, and everything, and also foreign thinking. New Zealand style of coaching is probably slightly different to the way the English, coach. I think in England we sometimes go a little bit too technical, and it's about also registering, emotionally. How do you feel about being in a certain situation? How are you going to go for that? And I think that's where Brendan McCullum's been brilliant. He encourages his players to play freely, go and play your big shots. If you get out, you won't get like crucified, going back in the dressing room. It's okay. It's part of our game plan. And I think that's allowed everyone to just free up. Before I remember if you didn't bowl to the game plan or bat in a certain way, in the dressing room, people will be absolutely petrified to come back in because they had gone against the game plan. But here, it's part of the game plan. Go out there and win the game. Go out there, uh, chase your fear, the fear of pulling a ball that is coming out your head or bowling that magic delivery and having an attacking field set. You just never know. You end up getting a wicket. So I think that's what's happened. It's the game's probably changed since the last 10 years. And someone like Brendan McCullum is probably a bit more in tune with that change because he's been playing, he's been coaching the franchise sides. That's where the biggest change has occurred in cricket is the franchise cricket, the way people play that style of game in the T10 and T20. And that style is now being sort of evolving into the test arena.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you think the baseball that we are saying at this very moment, the vision that Brendan McCullum has made it, in the English team, do you think this is the way of moving forward in the Test cricket as well? Because what we saw in England, in Pakistan, the way you batted was surreal. Because nobody would have ever seen that, would have ever imagined that, going back 20 years or 15 years, the team playing the entire day at a run rate over six. So, do you think this is the way of Test cricket in the future?
Well, I think it's a way that England are playing. I don't think other teams should follow that. They should work out what's best for them in games of cricket. And for others, it may be just going the traditional way of playing Test cricket or the way they win one days and T20s. And you don't want to be chasing or following England way of doing it. England, that first Test match in Pakistan, they declared. A lot of teams would not have done that. A lot of teams in the past would have said, let's get the first test match out of the way where we don't lose, and then let's go and win the test series at some point in the second or the third. But Ben Stokes, Brendan McCullum are prepared to lose a test match, are prepared to lose games of cricket to win and to more, in fact, produce entertaining. It's got to be entertaining. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. It's about producing entertaining cricket. And that really comes down to the coaching, the board, the captain. They all kind of buy into that. And I think ECB have done that. ECB think, well, this is much more entertaining. We get a lot more people watching England cricket now because the style that they play. And in Pakistan was a great example of that. They only won 2 test matches before over the last 50 or 60 years. One with Ted Dexter as captain. The other time was Nasser Hussain in 2000 in Karachi. And then we win 3 test matches. And that's because of the impact of the last 18 months, the way Brendan McCullum is saying, we want to change. We play test cricket to make it more entertaining and try and bring in some of the skill sets from the T20, T10 games into test cricket. So test cricket can still thrive, because that is the most important format, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing they have been doing in the last couple of years is surreal, and to say the least, it's outstanding. So another thing that I want to say is that Ben Stokes, tell us about his impact in this team, because in every format he's excelling. His leadership is immense. Do you think he is going to be, remembered as one of the greatest English players ever? You think he may not be still at that moment, but in the future, do you reckon he's going to be at the very top?
Yeah, well, if he keeps going as he is, and we've got a big series coming up, Australia with the Ashes, and if England win that in a comprehensive manner and they continue to play that fast ball style of cricket, then the next stop probably be India, because I think the last time was probably when I taught in 2012. So they'll be thinking, right, how do we win in India now? Because that's Steve Waugh even said, by conquering all the other nations, India's the hardest place to go and to win. And I think for Ben Stokes, yeah, he'll probably be up there as one of the legendary, test captains for English cricket. But then for world cricket, to put his name amongst, Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh, Graham Smith, Stephen Fleming, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, amongst these kind of, great thinkers of the game, Nasser Hussain, Michael Vaughan, these are the great captains, we've seen in world cricket. Then I think he'll probably have to, win in India or win in Australia. That'll be another big task for him. So it's the away wins where then he'll be looked upon, because at the moment Pakistan's been brilliant, but Pakistan have lost every home series as well. So we got to be realistic there. I think that they're still finding their feet in Test cricket in Pakistan, but I think playing against the likes of the other bigger nations, India or Australia, and winning away series, I think that'll be a huge achievement for him.
I hope England goes on, and hope Ben Stokes is going to emulate all the predecessors of him. So now coming back to India a bit, we know that you have a connection with India as well. So what are you making of this current Indian team, that this, so much talent, but still at the ICC events, you can see in the T20 World Cup, even in the World Cup, India is coming short. So do you think there is something going wrong for India despite having all the abundance of talent in the team?
I think with India, what it is, I think they probably peak a bit too early. They peaked really well against Australia, South Africa in the bilateral series. And then even recently we see against Sri Lanka, they're playing really well. New Zealand now. I think that what they tend to do is they perform really well in bilateral series, but then for the ICC tournaments, maybe they need to sort of think, right, are we relying too much on our bigger stars, the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma? Is there too much emphasis on some of our experienced players? And possibly we could maybe think, right, is there opportunity to rest them and maybe only have them for the bigger games? Zimbabwe was a great example. When they played against Zimbabwe, they could have played maybe some of the other players and they still would have won. In India, that's strong. They could have possibly rested, Virat Kohli, and then say, look, you are a big match player. I think what happened is Virat Kohli kind of played the final in the first game against Pakistan. That was like winning the T20, trophy. The energy, the emotional energy, the mental energy, performances that he was able to produce. That I think it took a lot out of him, and eventually as the tournament went on, maybe he was getting physically, mentally tired and needed other people to step up or just say, look, we need to rest our big players like England do. And then for the bigger games, we need to make sure that we're ready, and that same pattern, Surya Kumar Yadav, if you get him out early in the first 15, 20 balls, any team in T20 cricket will think playing against India, we got a chance. But now they've got, new players coming through. So, I think India are very strong now. They're very, very strong side. And with the ICC World Cup in India this year, they've started this year really well. So I think India in India, very difficult team to beat.
Yes, and now talking about new player who has been emerging a lot in the Indian setup at this very moment. He started off very early. He did well in the IPLs. He got in the team, and now he's making a mark of himself in the Indian team. That is Aksa Patel, who's a left-arm spinner, much like you. Have you seen him? What are your thoughts about him if you have seen him?
Yeah, look, I watched him play. I think when we first caught my eye was against Australia during the bilateral series, and there was an 8-over game, and I think um, the captain gave him an over. So you can see he's got the appetite to play in the bigger overs. He's got the temperament to handle the situation, and I think that's really helped his game. And also, what helps is with his batting is if he bowls well or if he knows what the pitch conditions are like, then he knows how to bat on that surface. So you can see that it helps his batting and his bowling. His batting has really come, through a lot more, and he knows he doesn't know how many games he's got left until Ravindra Jadeja gets back. But if he keeps performing like he is, then he's going to keep Ravindra Jadeja out because he's doing everything he can to stay in that India team. And at the form he's in at the moment, I think they've got to keep Akshay Patel because he deserves a spot. He's doing brilliant. And Ravindra Jadeja just coming back from injury. But you get the feeling that when he's fully fit, India may go back to him. But I just think that if Akshay Patel got this opportunity now, he's got to make the most of it to make it really hard for Ravindra Jadeja to get back in the team. You got to say to Ravindra Jadeja, well, you got to go and perform now and do really well for your domestic side. And this is not going to be automatic, there's a place for you because Akshay Patel is really working hard and pushing himself, especially with the batting and the bowling. So, yeah, he's done brilliantly well.
Now talking about another spinner, a very young English spinner who has got into the final test in Pakistan, Rehan Ahmed. He's been regarded a top prospect, sir. So have you seen him? What you know about him, and do you think he has the ability to take the next step and become an England regular?
Well, yeah, look, I mentioned in my column that I have with the Daily Telegraph, like that you look at a player and sometimes you just judge a player based on how they respond in first class cricket and the way Rehan Ahmed responded with the ball, the bowling, the batting. You kind of just feel like, yeah, this is the moment now to have a look at Rehan Ahmed because England done so well in Pakistan that they had a luxury test match to have a look at him. And he did really well. He performed well. He showed his credentials. I don't know if he'll play in New Zealand, but he'll go on trip if Jack Leach, I think finger spin tends to favour a bit more because of the grassier pitches in New Zealand. But if Jack Leach, is unable to perform, then they've got someone there in Rehan Ahmed. They can have a look at him and say, right, he puts pace on the ball. That's the most important thing for a spinner in Test cricket. He can, if he wants to play the sole spinner, he makes sure he keeps putting the pace because that kind of protects you from the bad and short deliveries. But generally, seeing him and seeing, he's got his glass ceiling is high. He's only had a bit of experience, but when you look at a cricketer, you think, right, how far can this person go? With Rehan Ahmed, you say, yeah, he can. He's got a big future, and he may eventually play as a second spinner on turning pitches. In England, being the premier spinner, he will have to work on his spin a bit more. And because he's playing a lot of franchise cricket at the moment, he's doing really well in the International League T20 in Dubai. That demand and the earning potential could be that you may just see him as a second spinner in Test cricket, but then he ends up becoming, similar to like Rashid Khan, uh, unbelievable sort of leg spin bowler playing franchise cricket, batting at the top of the order. He only needs to get 20 or 30 and he's done his job, and his 4 overs, he does really well. So it's really good, really a huge prospect he is.
Absolutely. So am I audible? Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
So excellent. You have some great memories here in India. So can you tell us a bit more about what was your most special, the best memory that you have had? Probably is it the 2012 Test series when you just rocked Indian batting?
Yeah, that was a big, yeah, it was a big memory as a team and as maybe for a spinner going to India and winning against India, it was a big thing, I think for the whole lot of the side. And to do that, I think over 27, first time in 27 years, Alistair Cook first tour as captain. So that was massive for us. And that was, a strong India team. That was one of the memories, I sort of cherished very much so. And I think it was the last time they saw kind of an overseas team has won in India. So it's been over 11 years now. So India's been very dominant at home. And obviously, my first year, the great. How can I, not cherish that? That was a brilliant moment for me.
So I think you're playing in the England Legends team. So you may have had a chance to meet Sachin Tendulkar again while playing in the Legends Cricket League.
Well, I think he plays in the other one at the road safety. So I was playing in the Legends League, which has been brilliant as well.
Yeah.
All ex IPL legends, Test cricketers who I played with, and were absolutely successful in the IPL teams. Now playing in this league, so this league still has that huge attraction, and the likes of Gale, Sehwag, Harbhajan, Singh, some of the other sort of Indian legends, Irfan Pathan,
Yeah.
Mohammed Kaif.
Yeah. So how was
so
was it
yeah,
a bit different from the feeling when you were playing for England, or or the intensity was the same?
no, the standard was still very high.
Yeah,
The guys took it very seriously.
Yeah.
Initially we were told it wasn't going to be as serious in England, so we felt like it was more like a benefit match kind of tournament. And when we got there, it was like everyone was like firing on all cylinders, and suddenly we're doing extra gym sessions, run sessions, trying to get fit. But I think the next one, a lot of the guys have said that they're going to train really hard for it because it was a lot more competitive than we thought. We just thought it would be, like a sort of light-hearted games and not taken so seriously. But the level of cricket, and because of some of the guys have just recently retired from the IPL, then they're going to bring that level of competitiveness. So you've got to meet that level of competitiveness.
Hope to see you again soon, sir. Hope to see you smiling, picking up wickets, because we just all want to recuperate all those memories that we have had as a childhood or growing up, seeing you guys. So now we're gonna just shift a bit from cricket. You're a football fan.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm right, and I guess you're an Arsenal fan as well.
Yeah, I'm a big Arsenal fan. We've seen the likes of Martinelli, Saka, and then the Norwegian, the player Odegaard, and now we recently signed a new Belgian from
Leandro Trossard
Brighton.
from Brighton. Yeah. So what are your
Yes,
thoughts? I'm an Arsenal supporter,
and he scored more goals than Jesus. He's a better passer than Saka, and he's got better offensive play as well than them top three. So I reckon a great addition to our squad, and he's only 27 million. So absolute bargain, astute signing from the Arsenal quartet.
So do you think we are going to get the league this time? And do you think Mikel Arteta is the way forward for us? Do you trust the project?
Yeah, I hope so, man. Yeah,
This
is the best chance for us. We got a big game against United. If we beat them, then I reckon we're halfway there. And we're only halfway through the season anyway. So there's loads of games to go. But the way Arsenal are playing at the moment, and our top forward. We've got the best right winger, best forward. So in the league at the moment, so I reckon we got every chance to make it, and this is our best chance to win it. So fingers crossed. I'll be there celebrating with all the Arsenal fans.
Absolutely, sir. Come on, you Gunners. Hopefully, you're gonna get it. Hopefully, surely.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So now,
I'll be there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me. Continue, sir. Continue.
Yeah, yeah, just there celebrating with all the Arsenal sort of teammates, and yeah,
Have you been
me
to
and
the
Mikel
Emirates this
Arteta.
season? Have you been to the Emirates?
No, I've been invited a few times. I just been away. I think obviously when I was in India and Nepal doing the T20 commentary. So I'll probably try and get down there at some point.
Absolutely, sir. And now, to the final bits of this outstanding, this very, very interactive chat with you, sir. Now, we have some top players at this moment, batters. I'm going to go with batters first. Some top batters at this moment, like Virat Kohli for India, Joe Root in England, Ken Williamson, Steven Smith, Babar Azam. Do you think, because people sometimes collude themselves into comparing all these players, they kind of rank players? I'm not going to tell you to rank any of them because all of these players are stalwarts in their own numbers. The numbers speak for themselves. But still, do you think Virat Kohli probably just edges past all the other batters in terms of the numbers and in terms of his versatility in scoring?
Yeah, look, I think probably ODI and T20 cricket will go for Virat Kohli, and I may just say Joe Root will edge it in Test cricket, but it's not much between them. It's just great the appetite that they have. You know, after a few performances, you kind of lose the appetite. But with Joe Root, Virat Kohli, they keep going, don't they? And it's brilliant to see. And it's nice to see Virat Kohli get back on his form. How he scored, I think, back-to-back hundreds. So I think it was 3 years when he got his first one, and then he seemed to on a roll now. So I'm sure he'll be delighted because sometimes as a performer, sometimes you think, well, maybe I've gone past it. That was me then. But it's good to see that he's kind of reignited his form and got back to how we've seen Virat Kohli perform. And yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. And I was recently seeing Joe Root playing some outrageous shots in the ILT20. I never had seen him playing those kind of shots. So these players, although they're at the top of their game, they adapt it so well. So we should be appreciating it rather than comparing and, colluding ourselves into this comparison and all these things. Don't you think?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Like sometimes I think we compare players, but you also see how they're evolving. Like Joe Root probably hasn't had as much experience in T20 and cricket and franchise cricket. So this is a great opportunity for him in the international league T20 in Dubai to actually play some innovative shots, be creative, show us his versatility skills. And he definitely has that. He sort of switch hitches behind third
Yeah.
man. That's unbelievable how he does it.
So, sir, another thing that the final question that I want to ask you in today's chat is that James Anderson, he's nearing 40. I think he's 40. Where does he get all those energies, to keep on performing like that even now?
Yeah, look, I think it's just his hunger. He really wants to play as long as he can because I think we all players know once we're retired, it's just not the same. Yeah, you talk about the cricket games, or I'm sure he'll be knighted one day and he'll be invited to all the big sporting events. Still be a brand ambassador for many different companies because of his brand value. But playing is still the same thing. For him at the age of 40, getting out the best players in the world, and also the motivation. How many 40-year-olds are there right now in the world, apart from maybe Tom Brady in NFL? There's not many out there that you can compare that are playing at the high level. So for James Anderson, it could be, yeah, maybe I want to leave that mark in world cricket and in world sport. That he could be one of the oldest professional athletes representing his country in a team sport. So I think it's brilliant. He keeps himself fit. He keeps himself mobile. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor, a privilege to to have a chat with you. Hope to see you soon, sir. All the best for your future endeavors, and hope to see you in India again soon, probably in the Legends League,
Thank you.
whatever form it is. And may Arsenal win the
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Arsenal win the league,
absolutely.
and yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much, and thank you very much.